She walked into a luxury car dealership with a smile, but walked out humiliated. They judged her clothes, her silence, her simplicity. What they didn't know was that she was the wife of one of the most respected men in Hollywood. And when Keanu Reeves found out how they treated her, he didn't shout. He didn't threaten. He did something so shocking, the entire dealership fell silent, and their future changed for verdant. Forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Now, let's dive into what really happened. Stop right there, Those 4 sharp words sliced through the silent, glassy showroom like a blade. Even the soft hum of the air conditioning felt as if it paused for a moment. It was a calm afternoon in Los Angeles when Elena, Keanu Reeves' wife in this fictional story, stepped into the luxury car dealership. She came alone, quietly, without a driver or assistant, exactly how she preferred to move through the world. With her simple black jeans, a loose grey sweater, and her hair tied back casually, she looked like any ordinary woman out for errands. And that was the problem. The 3 salesmen gathered near the reception desk glanced at her once, then exchanged looks with each other, looks filled with assumption, judgment, and quiet mockery. To them, she didn't look like their type of customer. A luxury dealership like this catered to celebrities, wealthy CEOs, tech millionaires, not someone who looked as simple and understated as Elena. She wasn't even 2 steps inside when one salesman blocked her path with his hand raised, as if stopping an intruder. This isn't a place to browse, he said sharply. Cars here start at $200,000. Maybe try a more appropriate dealership. His voice carried arrogance, the kind that comes from serving rich clients all day. Another salesman leaned toward his colleague and whispered something, trying to hide his laugh. Elena pretended not to notice, but she felt the sting. Hard. For a moment, she stood still, her heart tightening with a mix of embarrassment and disbelief. She wasn't angry, not yet. She was simply shocked. She had come only to pick up the car she and Keanu had already purchased, a surprise gift for a close family friend. The paperwork was done. Payment was complete. She just needed the keys. Trying to remain polite, she spoke softly, "I'm here to." The first salesman cut her off again, raising his eyebrows with annoyance. "Please don't waste our time. We only attend to serious customers." And then the 3 of them turned their backs on her. Just like that. For the first time in years, Elena felt small. Invisible. Like she didn't matter. Her cheeks warmed with humiliation, and a knot formed in her throat. She had no idea that in just a few minutes, someone would walk into the dealership who would change everything, and expose the truth behind their behavior in a way they would never forget. Minutes later, the glass doors of the luxurious dealership swung open again. This time, it wasn't Elena alone who stepped inside. Keanu Reeves appeared, moving with his usual quiet confidence. No bodyguards. No flashing cameras. No entourage. Just him, simple jeans, a worn leather jacket, and boots that had clearly seen many steps. A calm expression graced his face, and a small bag was casually slung over his shoulder. The effect was instantaneous. The same 3 salesmen who had barely glanced at Elena now straightened abruptly, like soldiers at attention. Their whispers halted mid-word, their grins disappeared, and their eyes widened in disbelief. They weren't expecting him, Keanu Reeves, the man whose name alone could sell out theaters and cars alike, walking into their showroom without warning. Elena, feeling a mixture of relief and nervousness, took tentative steps toward him. She didn't want a scene, but her humiliation from moments ago still clung to her like a shadow. Keanu noticed immediately. His eyes softened when they met hers, and in that quiet glance, she felt an unspoken question. What happened? Before she could respond, the dealership manager hurried over, plastering a wide, overly polite smile across his face. "Mr. Reeves. It's such an honor. We didn't realize, she was with you," he stammered, his voice laced with nervousness. Elena lowered her eyes, hoping this moment would pass. But Keanu's expression had changed. The warmth in his face was replaced by a steely focus. His jaw tightened subtly, and his calm demeanor carried an unmistakable weight. He wasn't a man who often lost his temper, but disrespect, especially toward someone he cared about, was a different story. What exactly do you mean by she? Keanu asked, his voice calm yet cutting through the room like glass. The manager fumbled, tripping over words. Well, we assumed she wasn't a serious buyer. Keanu's gaze swept the room. And so you spoke to her like that? His voice was quiet, but every word carried authority. Silence fell over the dealership. Staff members froze, unsure whether to move or speak. Even the cars in the showroom seemed to wait, polished metal reflecting the tension in the air. Elena gently touched his arm, urging him to let it go, but Keanu shook his head, a determined glint in his eyes. No, he said firmly. People deserve respect, no matter their clothes, their looks, or who they are. Nobody should be humiliated for simply being themselves. The air hung heavy with tension as the staff realized this wasn't just a celebrity walking in. It was a man who would not tolerate injustice. And in that moment, everyone knew the lesson they were about to learn would be unforgettable. Keanu Reeves inhaled slowly, his chest rising with a quiet intensity that made the air itself feel heavier. He turned toward the stunned sales team, his calm demeanor hiding a simmering sense of justice. I want to ask all of you something, he began, his voice steady, each word deliberate. If she were anyone else, someone without a famous husband, would you have treated her the same way? The question hung in the air like a knife. Silence followed. Not a single salesperson dared answer. Their faces shifted nervously, glances darting between one another as though searching for an invisible escape. Meanwhile, other customers in the showroom started murmuring. Some discreetly pulled out their phones, capturing the tension, the confrontation, the moment when a Hollywood icon silently demanded accountability. Whispers of curiosity and shock rippled through the crowd. Keanu continued, his voice measured but heavy with meaning. A luxury dealership isn't just about selling cars. It's about selling trust, respect, confidence. But if this is how you treat people, humiliating them, assuming things about them, judging them before even speaking, how can anyone trust you with something worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? The weight of his words pressed down on everyone in the room. The staff shuffled uncomfortably. Even the polished floors seemed to reflect the tension, gleaming under the showroom lights as if holding their collective breath. Then, almost casually, Keanu walked over to a red luxury sports car displayed on a rotating platform. He ran a hand gently along the hood, the car's shine reflecting the anger and disappointment in his eyes. This car right here, he said softly, tapping the gleaming surface, I was planning to buy it today. The manager, seeing an opportunity to regain favor, brightened instantly, forcing a smile. Yes, of course, Mr. Reeves. We'll prepare the paperwork immediately. Keanu raised a hand, stopping him mid-sentence. His calm, firm gaze swept the room again. No, I'm not buying anything today. Not from a dealership that treats people without dignity. Not from a place that assumes someone's worth based on appearance or status. The entire showroom seemed to freeze. Even the hum of the air conditioning and the soft ticking of the wall clocks were drowned out by the weight of his declaration. For a moment, everyone, salespeople, customers, and even the polished cars themselves, stood still. It was more than a refusal. It was a lesson. A statement that respect is not optional. And in that quiet, powerful moment, it became clear. Keanu Reeves didn't just buy cars. He demanded humanity. Keanu Reeves gently took Elena's hand, guiding her toward the exit. The earlier tension in the air seemed to cling to every corner of the showroom, but his calm presence radiated a quiet authority that made the employees shrink under his gaze. For a moment, it looked like they might finally breathe again, then he paused. With a deliberate motion, Keanu reached into his pocket and pulled out his phone. The staff watched in stunned silence as he dialed a number. Conversations and footsteps in the showroom came to a halt. Even the hum of the air conditioning seemed to pause, as if the universe itself was waiting. Hey James, Keanu greeted warmly, his voice carrying that rare mix of charm and authority. Yeah, it's Keanu. Listen. Remember that dealership you were planning to feature in the new celebrity showcase event? The manager's face drained of color. He swallowed nervously, realizing that the man in front of him wasn't just upset. He had power that could shake the dealership's reputation nationwide. Keanu continued, his tone calm but precise. You might want to reconsider their customer treatment today. It was unacceptable. He briefly recounted the events, describing the humiliation Elena had faced, the lack of basic respect, the assumptions made about her simply because she appeared ordinary. There was no anger in his voice, no exaggeration, just the honest, unflinching truth. When the call ended, he slipped the phone back into his pocket and turned to face the stunned employees. His eyes swept across the showroom, and his calmness made the weight of his words even heavier. That, he said quietly but with undeniable authority, was the director of Celebrity Automotive Partners. Your dealership was about to be featured in their national luxury showcase. Not anymore. A wave of disbelief and shock washed over the staff. Mouths fell open. Hands fumbled with paperwork. Some employees even looked at Elena as if seeing her for the first time, realizing she was not just a customer, but a person whose dignity mattered more than any sale. Keanu smiled faintly, his arm wrapping gently around Elena's shoulder. Let's go somewhere they treat humans like humans, he said softly, guiding her toward the door. The couple walked out together, leaving behind a dealership that would never forget the lesson. Respect is earned not by status, but by how you treat people. And in that quiet, powerful exit, Keanu had made it clear that human decency is non-negotiable. Even the luxury cars seemed to glisten in approval under the showroom lights, bearing witness to a man who had turned a personal affront into a lesson everyone would remember. The moment Keanu and Elena walked out of the dealership, the story didn't stay quiet for long. Within hours, it exploded online. Social media buzzed with posts, videos, and tweets capturing the incident. News outlets picked it up, framing it as not just a celebrity moment, but a lesson in basic human decency. Fans flooded the comment sections, praising Keanu's calm yet decisive stand. They admired how he had protected someone he loved while sending a powerful message to the world. More importantly, the story sparked conversations far beyond Hollywood. Thousands of ordinary people shared their own experiences of humiliation, stories of being judged for appearances, status, or first impressions. From coffee shops to high-end boutiques, people related to Elena's moment of invisibility. Keanu's actions had turned a personal affront into a universal reminder. Respect is not optional, it is essential. Within a week, the luxury dealership issued a formal public apology. They apologized not only to Keanu and Elena, but also to every customer they had ever treated poorly. Press releases, social media statements, and even interviews followed, trying to repair the brand's tarnished image. But Keanu's response was measured, simple, and profound. Apologies don't matter unless behavior changes, he said. His message reminded the world that respect is demonstrated through actions, not words. Instead of buying the flashy sports car he had originally intended to purchase, Keanu and Elena chose a different path. They went to a small, family-run dealership, a place far removed from the glitz of the luxury showroom. From the moment they arrived, they were greeted with genuine kindness. The owner, unaware of who they were, offered tea, asked about their day, and treated them with warmth that felt effortlessly real. Only later did he realize he had served a Hollywood icon, but nothing about his treatment changed. He had behaved with integrity before knowing fame was in the room. For Keanu, that authenticity mattered far more than any luxury car or prestigious showroom. It wasn't about the price tag, it was about the dignity and respect that come with treating people well, regardless of status or appearance. In the end, the world learned a powerful lesson from that quiet afternoon in Los Angeles. Money can buy luxury, but it cannot buy respect. True wealth is in kindness, humanity, and the way we treat others. And as Keanu and Elena drove away in their modest but meaningful new car, the message was clear. Dignity is priceless, and compassion always wins.